Hello, Morongo Basin and listeners around the world online at Z107.7 FM.com. Here is the Z107.7 local news for Friday, December 22nd, 2023. A Joshua Tree man has been arrested and charged with murder in the 2022 overdose death of a Yucca Valley man. Online news editor Robert Hayden joins us with the story.
On November 2nd, 2022, county sheriff's deputies responded to the death of Stephen Lockhart, a 33-year-old resident of Yucca Valley. Lockhart was found in the 56,800 block of Navajo Trail in Yucca Valley. The county coroner's office determined that the death was an overdose of fentanyl, and the sheriff's gang/narcotics division's overdose response team took over the investigation. The sheriff's department identified Nicholas Kohler, a 26-year-old resident of Joshua Tree, as the suspect who allegedly provided Lockhart with a fatal dose of fentanyl. After the investigation was completed and the autopsy results were received, the case was presented to the San Bernardino County District Attorney's Office and murder charges were filed. Deputies arrested Kohler yesterday, December 21st at 12:30 p.m. Nicholas Kohler was arrested for investigation into murder, charges related to the sale and transportation of narcotics, as well as violating parole. He's being held at the West Valley Detention Center on $120,000 bail. Reporting for Z107.7 News, I'm Robert Hayden.
A man recently released from prison was arrested for suspicion of domestic abuse and false imprisonment. On Tuesday, county sheriff's deputies from the Morongo Basin Station responded to a report of domestic abuse. A suspect in the abuse was identified as Joseph Salazar, 25 years old, a man on post-release community supervision, and he was arrested by deputies. Joseph Salazar was arrested on suspicion of injuring a spouse, cohabitant, or date, false imprisonment, and violating post-release community supervision. He was booked into the West Valley Detention Center, where he is being held without bail. He is expected to be arraigned on felony charges today. It's impossible to miss food and merchandise vendors setting up along high desert roads. Over the last 6 months, 29 Palms Highway and its service roads, Old Woman Springs Road, and highway-adjacent parking lots have become filled with tents, tables, carts, and trucks selling a variety of goods and foods. Street vendors have always been a part of the desert community, but a recent uptick in vending, particularly in Yucca Valley, has been noticeable. And one popular food truck's video on social media discussing recent encounters with Yucca Valley code enforcement has brought the issue to the forefront over the last week. The state of California enacted the Safe Sidewalk Vending Act in 2018, designed to allow food vendors to legally sell their food or merchandise on the streets. Shortly after its passage, local governments, including San Bernardino County, Yucca Valley, and 29 Palms, all passed additional regulations. On a recent episode of Z107.7's Up Close show, County Supervisor Don Rao discussed street vendors in the high desert, saying,
Food trucks. Illegal food vending is becoming a significant problem. You can drive along 62 at night and see them popping up right over by Pie for the People.
Oh, yeah, they're all over.
They're down by Triangle Liquor.
I thought those were legal.
Well, not all of them. They have foodborne illnesses. They're not necessarily inspected. So they can apply to be legal, but I would say the majority are not. And I understand the appeal sometimes of a quick, swing through. But when you look at our small businesses that we've gone to great lengths to attract to the basin, the cost of opening up and maintaining a business, especially in the state of California, is pretty onerous. So it is a disadvantage, and it's an unfair disadvantage to those people that have put their entire life savings into operating small businesses and doing it the legal way.
At a December meeting, the 29 Palms Planning Commission took steps to create more opportunities for street vendors within city limits by increasing the ease in which vendors could apply for permits. Though, the commission approved additional restrictions, barring vendors from working on sidewalks and high-speed roads, like 29 Palms Highway and Adobe Road. When asked about regulations for vending in Yucca Valley, Town Manager Curtis Yakimow said that outside of special events, vendors are not allowed to operate within town limits. He added, quote, Town residents have consistently voiced their desire for additional dining opportunities in town, and the town desires to support those businesses that have established a compliant business in town. Similarly, the town continues to take appropriate action against the pop-up vendors as well. Sometimes this process takes some time to work through and may appear that the town is not enforcing. However, that is not the case. End quote. Yakimow declined to discuss specific instances of enforcement against specific vendors and said that current policies can always be reevaluated and adjusted as the town develops. One vendor has already put out the call for a community turnout on the issue at the first 2024 meeting of the Yucca Valley Town Council. On the subject of enforcement at the county level, Rao said,
So
Take a look
we're
at it.
reactive in our enforcement.
So someone has to complain.
Someone has to complain.
And finally, it's that time of year when people are not only breaking out their Christmas decorations, but also turning on their favorite Christmas songs. In a long-time holiday tradition, Z107.7 will play all holiday music from 9 a.m. Christmas Eve morning to midnight Christmas Day. Gary Dignot invites you to tune in.
Since 1989, Z107.7 has been proud to be the holiday soundtrack for the Morongo Basin and beyond. Starting at 9 a.m. Christmas Eve, our unique collection of holiday music dedicated to classical Christmas and wintertime favorites will run all day and night until midnight Christmas Day. Included in the Z107.7 holiday party is a special edition of the Many Moods of Ben Vaughn at 3 p.m. Sunday, followed by the Z107.7 local music showcase with host Pat Kearns, featuring an all local holiday music from 4 to 6 p.m. For Z107.7, I'm Gary Dignot.
Thanks, Gary. That's our local news. Hear local news 7 times a day, 7 days a week at 7, 8, 9, noon, 4, 5, and 6. If you hear news happening, let us know about it. Email us at tips@z1077fm.com. Reporting for the Morongo Basin News Leader, the award-winning Z1077 Local News, I'm Jeff Harmetz.